Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rini, this is the Enchanted Planner, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own planner cover without a laminating machine. So that's what we got on the agenda. This is a dashboard I purchased from the Planner Shack. Now the irony is I had her resize this thing for a classic, but I cannot find that file anywhere. The only place I didn't check now that I'm thinking about it is in the messages on Etsy. Maybe that's where it is. Anyways, I took the A5 and I blew it up like 115% to make it a little bit closer to the size we need. So that's what we're going to play with. I've got some cardstock here in varying densities, widths. There's a word for this. There's a word for this. This one's like fairly thick. It is, does it say on it? Let me see. It is 100 pound, 270 GM. So that's this one. This is from Michael's. Then I've got some sort of flimsier cardstock, these ones, and then I've got like, you know, pretty cheap cardstock. But we're going to play around with these because I'm not exactly sure if I want to put her onto red or green. Oh, the green looks pretty good. Or this burgundy to pick up the rose tones. So that's what we're doing. So I also have a happy planner cover here. I have my crocodile and I have these self-adhesive laminating sheets. Now, I've made planner covers before laminating them, but actually this is better, and I'm going to tell you why. When you punch through laminate, it doesn't matter. I've tried it punching the holes first and then punching through the laminate. I've tried not punching it and then laminating it and then punching through it. It doesn't matter what I do. The backside still lifts up from it not being quite secured because, of course, remember with laminating pouches, the reason they secure to one another is because they melt around things. So if you break that seal, they don't have anything to attach themselves to, which is why I find this is better. But because we're trying to make a cover that's got some like thickness to it, we're gonna build this baby up. Even lightweight cardboard would probably work. So we need to pull out two of these guys. And these are cheap. I just got them off of Amazon. They were inexpensive, far less expensive than buying a laminating machine and buying laminating pouches. And like the last tutorial I did with using laminating stuff was using the laminating machine, and that was the bookmarks. Today I'm going to show you how to do it without a laminating machine. We do need a paper trim. Yeah, here it is. Like, I can't find him. Now, we're going to layer these. So the first thing we need to do is eliminate the surrounding edges on this. And we need the art to come down to 7 inches by 8.75. So let's see what happens when I just trim on the guidelines. I hope that printing it out at 115% that it was going to work, but 120 was too big, 110, you know, it's one of those things. 115 isn't even, no, it's not quite big enough. So we're gonna have to improvise, but that's okay. So let's just, come here, get these off of here, and then we'll see where we're at. So what y'all been up to? What y'all been up to, booze? 9.25. Yeah, so we're gonna go on the guidelines because, like I said, with the fact that I could not find my original copy is a bit of a pain in the butt because it was actually properly sized, whereas an A5 we're kind of playing around with things. So we need to get this guy down to 7 inches, which he basically is right now, but we now have this white border, which, I mean, okay, because that's going to actually be the punched edge anyway, so it's not a bad thing. But we need to lose 1/2 inch. So I think we're going to start by taking 1/4 inch off the top. And then 1/4 inch off the bottom, which would take us to 8.75. Now we should be, we're close. We're close. Okay, we're 8.75. Now, if we go, yeah, I'm not fond of the green. The red looks kind of cool. I just wish it was more of a deeper red. And I did, like I said, pull out this beautiful burgundy, which actually picks up the tones really, really nice because there's a lot of pink in here. So I think we're going to do this. So we do need my Tombow tape runner. And now we're going to build our planner cover slowly. So now this cardstock needs to be 7.5 by 9.25. So let's cut it down, and we may have to play around a little bit. So 9.25 7.5 is the total size for this guy, because Happy Planner covers, of course, are bigger than the pages. So that's why we're cutting this larger. And then it needs to be 7.5 across. So 7.5. Oh, and we'll move that guy out of the way. And then let's see how we look. I'm not horribly fond of this. We need to adapt a bit. So we're going to take a little bit off of this side. So this is where I said we'll probably have to shimmy a little bit here and there to make this work. So if we cut off that excess border, or maybe let's go less, and then if we need to take off more, we can always take off more, because that's always a good rule of thumb. Yes, see, that is much, much better. But this guy, I just realized, isn't going to be the final piece, or do I want him to stay the final piece? I also brought out, because like I said, I've got this really thick black cardstock, because I do want this to have some girth to it. Like I don't want it to be flimsy. So I think we're going to trim this guy a little bit smaller than this and mount the 3 together. Or hold on, I just had another thought, because really what we're doing with the cardstock is we're building this up. Oh, that's kind of pretty too. I love jewel tones. All right, black or burgundy. That's such a hard decision. The green pulls the green in here. But the black just makes it pop so much better. This is where it would be nice if you guys were sitting here and you could give your input. But I won't get your input till afterwards. I need to stand up and have a look at this. I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're gonna go with the green because the stuff I wanna put on the back side will probably tie in better with the green anyways. So we're gonna cut the green to the size that I just cut that one, which is the 7.75 by 9.75. Oh, sorry, 7.5. I got a little excited there. 7.5. Okay, and then we're going to take this to 9.75. Oh, this is a thick cardstock. I like it. Okay, so now we need to trim this guy down by 1/4 of an inch each. So he's 7.5. We're going to take him to 7.25. And this is 9.5. We're going to take this to, is that 9.75, just over. We're going to take this to 9.5. Oh, okay, good grief. Thick cardstock. I love it. Don't get me wrong. And then we're going to take this down just a tiny bit. We're going to remove it from this side, I think. So if we go, I'm going to move it in just a tiny bit more. So that makes it 6 3/4. And this is, of course, not cut straight either, which doesn't help much. I just want to see how this fits on here. Actually, that fits pretty good the way it is right there. It's not too bad at all. Okay, so instead of monkeying about with that anymore, we're going to move all of this stuff out of the way and we're going to start assembling. So let's get this in the area that I kind of want it, where it's, you know, fairly centered. And then I'm going to start laying down some Tombow. I'm not too worried about having a lot of adhesive because it's going to be laminated, so that will hold it all together. Nice. And we're going to layer this guy onto this one just slightly. Let's get it all where I want it. Okay, somebody's not got a straight cut here. Is it you? Okay, that gives me a pretty good border. So again, we're going to come in here with the Tombow, and I just want enough for it to stay down so it doesn't move. Same thing here. Okay. Perfect. Look at that. pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, now the back side. I have a couple of like Michael's paper packs here. This one, of course, is kind of falling apart, but oh, this is cute. What's on here? Oh, the Night Before Christmas one. That's pretty cute. Let's see what else we've got in here versus our wonderful cardstock. Oh, the stripes are kind of fun. That might be an idea. The snowflakes are pretty too. Oh, that's fun. Okay, let's see what else we've got in here. We've got like that. I think we'll go with that plaid. And it's loud and it's busy, but it should be fun. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Okay, so we'll pull a sheet of that out. And then we'll put this guy back together. And then I've got scraps here from another project I made. Then just before we get too excited, we'll have a look in here and see if there's anything that works really well. Those are pretty too. Oh yeah, that's fun. Now I'm changing my mind a bit. That could be fun as well. Maybe I shouldn't have looked in the second piece of paper packet. Because I do kind of like, which one was it? Those were fun. And so was this. And like if we pull something like that, yeah, okay. I think we're switching gears. Let's get this guy out, and then we'll shift this off to the side. I have so much stuff on my desk right now. You would laugh if you saw it. Okay, so yeah, I think this is awesome. Okay, so we're gonna have to get this cut to the right size. So our outside cover, remember, or the outside cardstock is 7.75 by 9.75. So we're gonna go down one size in this and go to the 7.5. I want it this way. So let's go to the 7.5 by 9.25. Okay, so, oh, something went wrong there. I think I read my measurements wrong. So are we too, we're too wide. So let's take off, that was 7.5, right? Let's go to 7.5. Let's go to 7.25, because we'd rather do this in small chunks instead of large, because you can always take more off, but you cannot put it back on. Okay, it's still a tiny bit big. We're gonna just size this as we go here. Let's go down to a 7, and then we're gonna take some off the bottom as well. We're gonna go from 9.25 down to 9. Ah, too much stuff. All right, hold on, let's see here. Okay. Okay, we took a little too much off the bottom, so let's take the minuscule amount off the side here. So it was at 7, we'll go to like this. Just like 1/8 of an inch. And that should balance it out. It does. Okay, so now I gotta find my tape runner under all this scrapbook paper. And let's get it precisely where I want it. About there is perfect. My paper is a bit crooked, which is a little annoying. Like I said in an earlier tutorial, I think I actually need to get a new paper trimmer, which is terribly frustrating because the dang thing is not that old. It's only a couple of years old. Oh yeah, see, you are cockeyed. Hey, hold on. Who's at a whack? Let's see if we can salvage this. That'll do. Okay, so let's tap this side down. Cool. Very cool. Now, if I can find everything on my desk here, we're going to see if we can find some fun things to decorate the back with. That's a bit big, but I don't really want to put anything in the middle of it anyways. We also have these snowmen, although that brings in a blue, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. We won't know until we take a look at it without the other on there. Let's fold this in half so I can get an idea. Yeah, not really. It's kind of cute, but not really. Oh, this is the book that came out of, so let's move that off to the side. And let's have a look in here. I only had this book, I don't know, I just literally pulled it out and the cover's already off of it. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going to play that game. All right, what do we have here? Those are kind of fun. There was another page of those in here. What do we got here? Merry and Bright, Let It Snow, Noel. Is that really all they've got in this one, is like those little journaling card things? They did have those strips though. What's in here? Yeah, I could use washi though if I wanted. Less fuss, less fuss than having to cut out strips. Then we have the countdown to Christmas. Okay, what do I have over here? Oh look, I have more. I have this red one that says there's no place like home. Then I have this little snowman, Love Doesn't Melt. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute too. This one, this one, this one, this one. Dimple, no dimple, dimple, no dimple. Okay, maybe we'll take this green guy. So we're just gonna slice down the center. Although that's cute too. And we'll come in here like this. I did want something a bit larger though, and this poor little snowman is not that big. Although maybe he's okay there. This is kind of cute. Or do we want to go this route and it takes up more room? But that brings in that blue. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's kind of cute. He is cute. Not really feeling the gray around it though. I wonder if we cut out the tag, if I would feel differently about it. Shall we? Let's see. Let's just cut out our little friend. Because I think it's the green that's kind of trying, like, that's playing a little bit of havoc with my brain. Or sorry, the gray, I mean. Let's just get rid of it. You guys go. I have no room for you and I don't want to cut you again. Okay, so we got rid of all the gray. Oh yeah, that's much better. So much better. Okay, so we're gonna stick our little dude down. First though, I'm gonna punch out the hole that has the gray in it too. So let's get the hole punch and punch that out. And if I wanted to, I could probably go and get some ribbon or something and add a, you know, ribbon. Oh, ribbon washi might be fun actually. Hold on. What have I got here? This, like, I wonder if it would work. Let's see, shall we? Although maybe it doesn't need to be ho ho ho. What else have I got? I'm just looking what I've got over here handy. Got those candies. I don't like that as much. I think we're gonna go with ho 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 because it's kind of cute. All right, so we slip this through like that. I guess to do it that way, I would have to lay out another piece of washi. But I also want to trim off the end like that one so it matches the other one. It's not quite the same angle though. That's terrible. Let's fix that. That's terrible. Let's fix that. There, that's better. So if we stick that down like that, unless we can, yeah, I don't, well, maybe. Let's see what happens if I rip it off. And I flip it over because I want to see the ho 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 on both sides. There we go. Pretty smart of me, right? Okay, let's glue down our little friend here. Cute. Okay, now I think want something at the bottom here. This is kind of bothering me. So I got this white grid washi. Let's see if, oh, come on. Come on. I wonder if we lay it around as a border, but I think this is too wide, so it's gonna have to get trimmed in half. So this is the washi graveyard, by the way. Sadly, it's the washi graveyard. I want to see if we can trim this in half. Problem is, when it comes down to making a long one, I'm going to be a little bit screwed. I'll have to improvise, but I'm sure I will figure something out. All right, X-Acto knife. Let's see if this is better. Yeah, it's not so it's not so like in your face, but I think this is kind of perfect to sort of finish off the image. So let's get rid of that and get rid of that. Ah, come on. My hands are so dry from it being so cold, like cold and stuff, that I can't pick anything up. Paper in particular, anything to do with paper, it's just bad. Okay, so let's lay this guy out as well at the top. We're almost at the finish line, and then I'm going to show you how these self-adhesive laminating films work. Do I need the other side? I don't know. Let's see. I guess we won't know until we try cutting it out. So I've got to try and make it the exact length, if not more, of this board. Okay, so let's get it lined up on the grid. And this is a self-healing mat that I got at Daiso. So if you have a Daiso in your area, you could probably grab one of these. But what I liked about it was the fact that it has grid lines on it. So it makes it a little bit easier to actually like cut things, because you can lay it over the line and measure out exactly how much you're cutting off instead of, you know, eyeballing it. So I really like this mat. All right, are we all happy? Everybody's all happy? Okay, good. Let's go. Now, hopefully this isn't going to be too short. I'm hoping with the ends of the other ones cut off that we can just kind of pair it up to that one. Like match it up to that one kind of deal. Because it will be just a tiny bit short, but maybe we can like work it in here at the bottom somehow. Like that, and then I can just sort of patch the edges maybe. I don't know, we'll see. We're gonna see how it works. I don't have a bigger cutting mat with lines on it than this one. They have bigger ones at Daiso. They also have ones on Amazon, actually. I'll see if I can find one and link it in the description, because I love it. It's thebomb.com. Okay, other than the fact that this corner got kind of munged, it looks kind of cute. Let's see if I can fix that. There, that's a bit better. And then, like I said, we could probably come in here with little bits of scrap to cover it up and finish up the job. Look at that! How awesome is that? I mean, I'm not really worried about lining the grid lines up exactly. It's not like anybody's gonna like be, you know, right over top of this planner cover looking at it going, oh, that's not right. Like you did that wrong. Okay, so let's do this corner. Come on, I just need a tiny bit of you. That's getting too small. Where's my tweezers? Where's my tweezers? Okay, so let's put that down like that and trim that off. And then this should be just enough. Oh, it wasn't enough. I cut too soon. I cut too soon. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board on this guy. We're just gonna get another scrap piece of the stuff I cut off earlier, which is right here. And we're gonna slip that down and trim that off, and then slip this down. And then trim that off. Okay. Cute. Now I'll get all the washi off my fingers and we're golden. Okay, it is time to move to the next step. So we're gonna pull out these self-adhering nuts and we're gonna measure. And this is where things also get kind of fun because these have grid lines on them, but they're not quite good enough. Like they're really wide. So we're going to, you need at least 1/4 of an inch all the way around to get a good seal on it. I mean, we can trim off once we get it matched up, but again, let's go on the bigger side of things than the smaller, because you can't put it back. Okay, so let's just draw sort of a guideline right there, and then a guideline right there. Again, too much is better than not enough. Okay, same thing. We're gonna line this guy up and leave about 1/4 of an inch or so all the way around. Get a little guideline and a little guideline. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next step. We're going to cut these guys with a paper trimmer on our guidelines. Wait a minute. Did I mess up something? This is the total size. Son of a beep. Where's my thing? It might still be okay. We have to give this a little bit of a trim. So we're gonna sort of just pull this apart a bit because I just realized before I went to cut that this actually might be a bit too big. So let's trim off the tiniest bit at the bottom, which is okay because it was kind of bugging me anyways. And then the tiniest bit at the bottom of this one as well. Okay. Now, it's going to kind of mess up this though. So will this come up? Yeah, this will come up too. And this is the permanent one, so that's good. It's cooperating. I'm not going to complain. So we're just going to recenter this guy. It's not great. It's also stuck to my desk. Well, at least it's not going anywhere. All right, I need to stand up because this is really hard to do when I'm when I'm sitting down. Okay, so okay, there's that guy. And I flip this over. I put this back on and recenter this. It's not going to have as much of a border around it, but that's okay. I could probably take off a teeny tiny little bit more, and we'll take some from the top on this side. This is interesting to do when there's adhesive on this. Like, I can't slide you where I need you to slide. Like, minuscule amount I'm taking off. Just so it's, you know, a little bit better and nicer and squared properly. It's still a little bit too big, but we're going to improvise and we're going to make it work because I do not want to go lifting off the artwork. Okay, there we go. Now I should be good because this should be the same size as the inside of this. Fairly close. It'll be a little bit bigger, but that's okay. It's just for my Christmas planner anyways. So now let's go back to what I was saying about trimming off these guys, because this should be 7.75-ish. We're going to go a little big because, again, I'd rather too much than not enough. And then we're going to go to 9.75 or around where my grid line was. So let's take it here. I'd rather be a little bit generous here. And then we can see how this actually fits. Oh yeah, I got way too much at the bottom, but that's okay because we'll cut off the excess when we don't need it. Okay, let's trim up our other dude. Let's trim our other dude. Okay, and then the grid line on the bottom, or my mark on the bottom, I should say. Perfect. Okay, our friends are trimmed. Now, the easiest way to apply this stuff, I kid you not, is we're going to do this in two parts. So if you notice, there's a peel and stick here, right? So you can lift this backing off of here. So my best suggestion is to peel it up and fold it. Don't pull off the entire thing at once. It'll make bad issues. Because we're going to take this, we're going to lay this down, and we're going to line this up where we want it to land on the page with our little giving it some extra, that it is centered as you can, and you're going to press it down. Because the next thing you're going to do is pull this down a bit, but don't pull out the whole thing yet. This is a mistake I made the first time I made these. Now go get your second one, because we're going to do the same thing on this side, but you don't want it sticking to the other one. So pull this down. Again, give yourself some room to wiggle. Line it up with the other end of the page. Okay, there we go. We're lined up. Then start pressing it down. Then you can peel out one ever so slowly and squishing it down as you go. Okay. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Pull this one down ever so slowly as you go, squishing it down. Now we're going to do the top because we still have these little tiny borders that we're allowed, right? And it's fairly forgiving. If you are careful and you make a mistake, you can lift it up, but it's relatively easy to lay it down. So you're just gonna run something along this to get all of the air bubbles out and press it down. And then we're gonna take off the strip on the back side. And then we're gonna seal these. So now these edges are what we're going to use. I didn't have it quite lined up. We're a little heavy on this side, so it needs a little tiny bit of a trim. But again, we're gonna come over this with the sticker squisher, smooth it all down. The Cricut scraper tool thingy, that, you know, the thing you do this with would also work. Make sure you get like at the edges of it. Make sure it's nice and sealed together. Because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to trim it. And then we're going to punch it. And I'll show you how to do that. So let's start there. That's pretty good. Now I want to trim off this tiny little bit on the edge because it's not quite, it has like one of them is exposed. So let's stick that over there. Did I get it all? I got it all. Awesome. I have such a mess on my desk. Oh my gosh. Okay, now we're going to get this guy to the size he needs to be. So we want him to be 7.5 wide-ish, right? So we've got that on that side. So a little bit from each side. And the thing is you can be a little bit more, this is a lot more forgiving than laminating as well. Because if you get too close to something with lamination, it will split, it'll come apart and it will lift. However, because this actually sticks to it actually sticks to things, this is good. It's good and sealed. You don't have to worry as much as you do about your margins or the excess on the edges as you would if it was just laminated. I think this is all around why this is better. And plus, we don't get the ability really to do like, you know, 10 mil lamination at home, like those machines are a little bit more expensive than, you know, the average lamination machine. See, look at that, right? Now you have a choice. You can leave it straight at the corners or you can round it. I tried corner rounding. My corner rounding didn't really like it all that much. So I probably wouldn't have. The other thing too, I just realized I didn't do. If I was going to corner round it, here's the trick that I missed. If you're going to corner round it, round the corners on this before you put it in to the lamination film. Otherwise, you're going to round this, but this is still going to be squared. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. I can't believe I missed that. I'm like, oop, dope. That's the problem. I didn't laminate or I didn't corner round the insides. So we'll corner round the this side. I'm just going to do that really quickly, so it's not as harsh of a corner, but it would have looked better had it been corner rounded on the actual this part inside, but that's okay. You live and learn. Live and learn. Okay, so we're corner rounded. Now we need to punch it. Now, I wouldn't put this in your Happy Planner punch. I have damaged my first punch by putting just 3 mil lamination through it. So I wouldn't throw this through your, but what you can do is if you have one of these, you can use a crocodile, or if you don't have a crocodile, you can use a hole punch and a pair of scissors. But the thing we need to do now is actually find out where our holes need to be. So we're going to line this guy up with an existing Happy Planner cover, and I'm going to give myself some guides to follow. Now, if you've never used a hole punch and scissors to make I don't know if I can do this. I've often wondered, because is it possible for me to kind of line these guys up somehow so I can actually, like, how do I know where the hole punch is on this thing? You know what I mean? That's what I'm concerned about. So here's the deal. I don't want to risk it. I'd rather have one hole that's different than mess the entire thing up. You take your standard hole punch and you're going to come in here and you're going to punch the hole. Then you come in with a pair of scissors, wherever they are on my desk. You come in with a pair of scissors and you're going to snip in for a spine. That's it. Now I'm going to use that as a guide for the rest here. I love the crocodile. It's probably the best money I've spent and the most used tool I have. Oh, I didn't go quite deep enough on that hole. There we go. There. Now we are punched. Shall we put it on a planner and see what it looks like? And this is what I'm saying, because this actually adheres to the actual paper, these are not lifting. Whereas the other one I made, where are you? This one, I don't know if you can see it, but you see, like, I can actually push it, because if I push on the edge of the laminate, it's not attached to the paper. So I like this better. Like I said, I did this and then I was like, you know what, let's try it the other way. And I like this better. I'm going to honestly say I think it's better for making your own planner covers. Oh, I didn't quite take my holes far enough, but that's okay. Easily fixed. But that's it, you guys. That's it in a nutshell. I mean, I might fix this a bit because apparently I didn't take the holes deep enough. Okay, hold on. This is going to get a little bit messy. Hopefully not too messy. They're just going to be a little bit bigger than normal, because I didn't quite take them deep enough. I mean, the other thing is I can probably trim off some of the excess on the, there, but that should be better. Yeah, that's better. And I think it's part of my trim needs to go. But yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button on your way out. If you're new to the channel, drop us a comment down below letting us know you're new so we can formally welcome you to our community. That's it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.